Why might you want to use Traceroute? Well, Traceroute is a tool that allows us to verify the path that our particular packets are taking. But it also allows us to verify if we have connectivity. Because when I do a trace, you can see here from the PC, I type in traceRT 2001 DBA 172.16:100. That's the server. What'll happen here is that the PC sends out a trace route message. It could be an ICMP based message, or it could be UDP. Both can be utilized depending on the operating system that is sending the trace. But we send our trace route message, and the first messages that we send out have a time to live equal to 1. That's it. Now, what happens when a router receives a packet? It decrements the time to live and then forwards it. But it's only going to forward it if the time to live is greater than 0. Well, if I set the time to live to 1, when branch gets it, it decrements the time to live and says, oops, time to live exceeded. I better send a message back to PC1 indicating so. So in this particular case, the time to live expires. Branch 1 sends a message to PC saying sorry. So we know that we can reach branch 1. So you see how we can sort of verify basic IP connectivity as well as trace the path to get there with Traceroute? So now what happens? Well, we now send from PC1, after the first trace is successful, we now send the next trace messages with a time to live of 2. So branch receives those particular messages, increments the time to live to 1, and forwards them on. HQ gets them, decrements it to 0 the time to live, and then says, oops, can't forward it anymore. So what happens now? We send a message back. Time to live has been exceeded. So that message comes back to PC1. PC1 gets it and says, all right, so now I know that this is the next device in the path, and I have connectivity to it because it responded back to me. So now we send our next set of messages because we still haven't reached the destination, right? The destination is this address here. So now we send our next set of messages with a time to live of 3. You see how we keep incrementing the time to live? So now we send them with 3. So branch gets them, decrements the time to live to 2, forwards it on to HQ, who receives them, decrements the time to live to 1, forwards them on to the server. The server receives them and says, oh, I am ... 100. So trace is complete. It's done. As a result of that, now PC1 knows, 1, that it has connectivity to server because the trace was successful. And 2, we can now verify what is the path that is being taken. Now, in this example here, there's only one path we can use. But if we had multiple paths that could be utilized in our layer 3 environment, so we had many more routers, multiple connections, high availability through redundancy, well, then we'd be able to verify the exact path that the packets are taking to get from PC1 to that server. And then on our routers, we can also issue Traceroute, but the command is different. It's Traceroute, and the idea is the exact same here. Let's send those messages out, and those Traceroute messages are going to have, starting off with the time to live of 1, we wait for a response back to them. 2, we wait for a response, 3 and 4, and so on and so forth, verifying both basic IPv6 connectivity along with the path that is being utilized to reach that particular destination.